Yo,
Hey, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you, but the picture is a little bit. Is it the internet connection? Maybe.
Oh, is it good now? I was moving it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. How's it going?
Good. How about you?
It's going great. It's really a pleasure to have you, man. Um, okay, yeah. Let's kick it off with a small introduction. So for anyone here that doesn't know who this guy is, because and you should know who he is because we're streaming on his platform, to be honest, and it's Luca Netz, the CEO of Igloo, Pudgy, Pengu, whatever you guys can call it, all of those, and Abstract right now. Um, his voice isn't clear. No, I think it's clear. I can hear him really well, to be honest. Um, so yeah, it's a pleasure to have you, man. First of all, let's kick it off with something simple. How has your day been? How's it going? What's something you can tell me that Luca Netz likes to do other than like Web3 things? Like something that does not a lot of people know, like other than pickleball.
Other than pickleball, well, first, my day's going well. I hope your day's going well. Um, One thing that Luca likes to do that most people don't know, I like to eat. I like to eat food.
Okay. That's nice. That's nice.
I'm a big food eater.
All right. Okay, that's nice. Um, let's kick it off with the Pudgy Party game that's coming out. You guys announced about the Soulbound token. Um, I think the majority of people started doing the pre-downloads. We want to hit your target, which is be the number one on the App Store. Um, can you talk a little bit about why the Soulbound token? Like, what was your marketing plan around it?
Yeah, so the Soulbound tokens, so Pudgy Party releases Friday, August 29th. So anybody listening, go to your Google Play Store, Apple App Store, just type in Pudgy Party, give it a pre-download. And when you pre-download it, you'll be eligible for a Soulbound token. So for those who are not familiar or weren't around during this time, Pudgy Penguins had a huge airdrop back in December 16th of 2024. The airdrop for Pengu, about $1.5 billion. Included in that tranche, I think there was about 30 or $40 million given to soulbound holders, right? So people who held soulbounds. The way that I kind of thought about soulbounds was soulbounds are really indicative of people who have supported the ecosystem. So you got soulbounds when you bought Pudgy products. You got soulbounds if you were a community member throwing events. You got soulbounds if you've held your assets for a certain amount of time. So soulbound tokens basically live in your wallet. They're non-transferable. So it's a really great way for me track somebody's participation within the ecosystem. So this is no different, right? The soulbound tokens, I think, have been a huge way for us to track who goes above and beyond and actually is a community member and supports the success of Pudgy Penguins versus somebody who just holds and is trading and is maybe, here for the opportunity. And so, soulbound tokens I value deeply. We've rewarded soulbound holders in a really big way over the last couple of years. And soulbounds will basically be given to people who pre-register and share it with a friend or a family member. So highly encourage people who are listening to this to pre-register and pre-download Pudgy Party and get your soulbounds. Kind of the way that soulbounds shook out is everyone who's ever supported Pudgy Penguins has made money. So if soulbound, if you were to buy like a Pudgy collectible, you got like for $250, you got like $800 in Pengu token. So we really try to focus and reward people who participate and support the ecosystem via soulbounds.
Are you a bit nervous on the launch that's happening? Or you think that you got everything out like
No,
planned?
I'm not nervous. I'm
Okay.
not nervous. I think this is what we do, right? We always swing big. The game is phenomenal. The product's phenomenal. It's our highest quality digital product by far. And I'm not nervous. I think for us too, like, you know, if it's the biggest thing in the world 1 week after launch, great. If it isn't, at the end of the day, like, month over month growth, it's something that these games are kind of, you know, it's a product like how we do everything else, right? So every month we try to sell more toys. Every month we try to get more views. Now that we have Pudgy Party, every month we're just gonna try to get more downloads. But the people in that market sector all have hundreds of millions of downloads. The top games in battle royales, and I think we can really own a huge part of the party game movement and the battle royale movement.
Okay, nice. Another thing I want to like know your thought about is I think you've seen a little bit about the things that's happening around the pudgy lending and borrowing that's been going on. Would like to know your thoughts. Like, what do you think that does to a collection or to an NFT, like on a broad spectrum?
It's a double-edged sword. I think when there's huge FOMO, it sends the NFTs exponentially higher than they would have went without it. I'm actually a firm believer. I said this like 2 years ago, but I said when there's an NFT bull run, you will see PFP collections, I think, hit triple-digit ETH. I think there'll be a couple, and it will be because of lending. On the flip side, when NFTs are not the talk of the town, right, which right now they just simply aren't, and it gets over levered and there's too many loans on the book, then it flips on the other side, right?
Okay.
And so it's really just it all starts and stops with where the NFT market is. I mean, we've really tried our hardest to bring NFTs back. I think over the last couple of years, we've really been the shining star in the NFT space in a pretty dismal, landscape. Um, you know, for NFTs to come back, though, I think new NFT mints have to come back. Like that fervor, that excitement. I think you need to see more people doing more interesting things. There's a couple companies I really like. One called Cryptoys. They have like Mickey Mouse and some of these other like digital collectibles. I really believe in things like that. So I think again in a world where there's no FOMO in the NFT space, obviously we get the short end of the stick. In a day when there is FOMO in the NFT space and you see triple digit PFP collections and 5 billion plus market cap on a 10,000 piece NFT or 8,808 piece NFT, it's going to be because of lending, right? So it's a double-edged sword. I think what we do is we keep on keeping on. I used to really freak out when those things have happened, but they always work themselves out.
Yeah.
They always get overblown, and it's everybody freaking out who actually creates the problem. It's the freaking out that creates the problem. It's on the timeline posting about it that creates the problem, while the sharks are really just taking your penguins at lower prices because then everyone kind of capitulates and gets scared. But it's like it's a tactic. It's like a strategy. So the big guys with size, like notice, it's never actually imploded. The big, just a couple tweets go around. The big guys with size kind of force the people to capitulate, and then even now, like the loan book is probably 15-20% smaller than it was. Like it's not like all the loans blew up. So, I'm kind of familiar. I know this just by talking to some of these guys who step in for these moments. Some of these guys are just playing, I think, the less sophisticated NFT traders like a fiddle. Because they know they're stopping it. They know they're going to fund all the loans and cover whatever lenders kind of defaulting or trying to pull the loan, and they pick up penguins for cheap and then they sell them for 30-40% higher. It's happened multiple times now, and I know the big players who do this. I've talked to them, and so it's really just like the timeline and guys trying to front run the cascade, and then the cascade never truly happens the way that everyone prophesizes, and then then all you're really left with is a couple less holders who got shooken out. But it never is that big of a deal. We've been through this like 4 or 5 times now.
Perfect. I want to jump a little bit into Pengu. I've heard you talk a lot about it in the last couple of interviews that I've watched. That the 90% down draw is part of the story, and it's something to be told later on. And I think it's you're right. Like every successful entrepreneur had something like that in his life, and the comeback is when you come back, you can tell that as a story. But regarding the token, will we see it like right now? I'm seeing that Pengu that you want to push it out to everywhere, to like you want to make movies, you want to make everything with it, but will we see it like used with real world value? Like, can we see it used in places? Can we see it, or like, are you gonna keep it in the Pudgy ecosystem, maybe to be used in the ecosystem as a token in the ecosystem, or what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think eventually it has to go to a point where I can order an Uber or buy some food with it. Like
Okay.
and that's kind of why I coined it social currency, right? Like the next evolution of memes.
Okay.
It in its final form, it will be that. I think you have to earn your stripes to become that, because I think if you do that too early, you become a joke, and not in a good way. Sometimes jokes can be good.
Yeah.
This would not be a good way, I don't think. We have a Shopify integration, so you can buy products with it. You know, I imagine a world where you have a credit card and you can buy things with it. You know, I want to take it there. I want to get it there. I think you'll see some things, you know, here shortly in terms of what it actually looks like to transact with Pengu. But you know, I think token, a lot of token founders kind of look at like, oh, you know, market cap as, you know, or holder count. Like, I'm actually looking at transaction count. Like, how can we
Okay.
actually make people transact with this more? Because it just becomes more ingrained in everyday people's lives, and I think it's a more of a compelling case that if you can spend it seamlessly, right, you don't need to, you know, sell the Pengu for fiat to go and cover bills. I think it's just like a really beautiful story in that respect. So
Okay.
I do see a world, actually a world coming sooner than I think most would think, in which you can buy everyday goods and power your necessary and discretionary spending with Pengu.
Okay. So you see something that can onboard new people into crypto, like what NFTs did in the NFT craze that happened.
I I think people, I think there's going to be this new, because I think meme coins are kind of like this cycle's NFTs.
Okay.
Thing is like kind of like how we came in and reinvented NFTs. We're kind of coming in and reinventing memes, right? This idea that like right now the history of meme coins and crypto, right, over the last 10 years have been, you know, meme, coin, community,
Yeah.
narrative, and they haven't really exceeded past that, right? I think what we're trying to do is like, hey, you know, meme coins are memes and they are narratives, but they're also IP, they're also culture, they're also movements, they're also products, they're also characters with story and love and affinity and mind share that's progressive and sentient, and it's gaming and it's movies and it's TV and it's partnerships with the world's biggest brands, it's food, it's you know, like
Yeah.
it should be that, right?
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't it be that? It's kind of obvious. And I think like, you know, a lot of the previous meme coin founders have like psyoped, you know, the meme communities to believe that that's the right way, because it's like, you know, obviously very lucrative and lazy for a meme coin founder to be like, yeah, we should do nothing, you know. But I'm not the guy that's going to sit around and do nothing. Like, I want to be the guy that wants to pioneer and innovate. And
Okay.
meme coins do have product market fit. They're never going away. They're only going to get bigger, right? But somebody has to lead by example in a way that I think is a net positive for the space. I think
Yeah.
you could argue that as currently constructed, meme coins can be a net negative. But if every meme coin, or if most meme coins built in the spirit of Pengu and Pudgy Penguins and did what we were doing, I think everyone would agree and be like, yeah, meme coins are actually a huge positive now. So we're just trying to flip that narrative
Okay.
and take memes and NFTs and you know, crypto IP to places that, you know, nobody's been able to take it before. And I think when it's all said and done, people are going to look back at it and be like, dude, thank God these guys did this, because I think it's going to help everyone's bags in a really meaningful way.
Okay. Perfect. Um, what would you say is like one thing that NFT or meme coin projects that are like fundamentally misunderstanding about token economics or branding that Pudgy is doing differently? Like, what what would you say that most of them like? I've heard you say IP a lot of times, like focusing on IP, but how is Pudgy doing it differently?
They don't know how to market and distribute like us. And that's been our ace up our sleeve this entire time. Nobody knows how to get the impressions that we're getting. And so ultimately, like tokens, NFTs or tokens or blockchains, this is relevant across pretty much every financial asset class. It all comes down to supply and demand,
Okay.
right? How much supply is on the market? Are holders convicted and putting a minimum price on that supply? And is there enough demand that's appreciating the price, right? Like, you'll see, and you see this all the time. Everyone always mid curves it. I actually was talking to a liquid fund the other day, and they sent me this report. And like on the report, this ecosystem had voted this token. I won't mention which token, but it was a very important token for crypto at like the highest bullishness. And I looked at the chart, and the chart was like down only basically or flat. And it was interesting because everyone thinks that like productivity or importance means value accrual. And they're so fundamentally broken. A lot of people get smoked in crypto thinking like this. It starts and stops with supply and demand and attention creation. And I think the beauty about Pudgy is we always know, and we've always known how to capture attention. And whenever we want, we can have the whole space talking about us, right? And that's the beauty about IP actually is IP is a black hole of attention, right? It always has been this way long before crypto. Like, where did people spend their discretionary spending and their free time, right? Like a lot of that spend and discretionary spending power is on IP or products relevant with meaningful
Exactly.
IP,
Yep.
right? And so it's actually a lot bigger of a TAM, and IP is very vague. IP is I'm an IP, right? Like but fundamentally, the Pudgy Penguin, the way it's positioned, its universal nature, or the way that everybody loves it, its framing, its positioning. When we create demand around it, just people fall in love, right? Women fall in love, kids fall in love, young dudes fall in love. Just everybody loves this penguin. So I think from my perspective, where everyone's went wrong and where we went right is we are just simply better marketers and simply better demand creators than I think anybody in the space, if I'm being frank. And I think a lot of people would tell you the same.
Yeah.
I think I would be remiss if anyone told you differently, if I'm being honest.
I totally agree. To be honest, like you guys know how to make demand and know how to give supply for it. So this is what makes you guys one of the best right now in the space. But before jumping on to abstract, I want to ask something about the region because from Saudi Arabia. I'm from the Middle East. When can we see something like Pudgy related or because you've been into Dubai, I think the last couple of months. Can we see something there like in the near future?
We've got something big coming in Dubai, and it's funny because I'm looking
Okay.
at my Dubai residence in front of me. I've got a Habibi, a local Habibi at the Pudgy office.
Okay.
Um, he can come on the camera and say hi if he wants.
He
Habibi, if you
can
want to
come.
say
He
hi, you
might
can come
know
say
me.
hi. Because do you know this guy? Play away.
Yo, Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. Hello, Habibi.
How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. How is it going?
Good. Can't
M-
complain.
make it-
I
make
wanted
it-
to actually talk to him about the Dubai plans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. Make it big for the region, please. Make it bigger now.
Inshallah, we'll make it happen.
I'm gonna connect you guys after this. Maybe
Yeah.
there's because he's in Dubai half the year. So if you're around there,
Yeah, I'm always there to be
best-
honest
best-
for meetings and all that. To be honest, so yeah, it would be good to hook up with him.
Yeah, I'll connect you guys after this. But long story short, we're big on Dubai, right?
Okay.
We've been focusing on getting listings in Dubai. So Rain, M2. We have a bunch of friends in the UAE. Have a lot of respect for everything that's going on
Okay.
in just that part of the world, and it's a focus for us. It's a focus for us. So it's going to be something you're going to see us in retailers. You're going to see us actually collab with, I think, maybe some Dubai Pengu chocolate. You might be seeing
Okay.
coming your way soon. But we definitely value the region in a big way, and some of our closest friends and closest allies come from that part of the world, and you'll see something before the year's over in a pretty big fashion that I think the UAE will get excited about.
Nice. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Let's jump a little bit into abstract. What's the most thing that you think is misunderstood about abstract right now? Like, what do you think a lot of people misunderstand when you tell them about abstract?
I think a lot of people misunderstand that I'm not trying to capture the existing audience. I'm really trying to go and get a different user.
Okay.
It's very easy to play crypto games with crypto whales
Yeah.
and give, crypto incentives to, I think, people that are, predatory and I think short-sighted. And I think people also think that for some reason, which is so strange because we've never given this impression, like that we have like a short-term thesis here. It's very important that when you look at abstract and you just look at the igloo holistically, like we do things to win. We do things to be the biggest and the best, right? When we do NFTs, we think we're the best NFT. When we do memes, we position ourselves to be the best meme, right? When we build a blockchain, right, we're not trying to just, grift users and be here one day and gone the next and, be something that was hot for a couple months and then dead for the rest of its life. Like we actually want to compete and build something bigger and better than incumbents, or at least that serves a need that hopefully pushes the space forward. And so I think like a lot of people also underestimate how long term we're thinking about abstract and how important I think it is to the entire ecosystem. I think it's very much a marathon, not a sprint. We're in the mindset of just building the best product possible and winning. And as a byproduct, as we continue to make strides, I think our community will win in a big way with us as well.
Perfect. What's a lesson that you guys learned from building Pudgy that like you've implemented into abstract that made you take shortcuts, like something that made it much easier?
I think two things. One, it identified the problem that we needed to solve, which the problem that abstract is really solving is it's solving the consumer journey problem.
Okay.
Crypto's consumer journey sucks. So the 0 to 1 sucks and the 1 to 100 also sucks.
Okay.
And I don't think we would have been able to identify that problem if it wasn't for Pudgy. And I think Pudgy taught us, and it's kind of our mindset, which is like distribution above all else, right? Like everyone wants to play a different game. Me as an entrepreneur, I'm a distribution first entrepreneur. I really don't care about anything else. I mean, I just hope that the product has integrity and that it's functional, and that's a different co-founder who's responsible for that. My focus is just on distribution and building the highest converting platform to convert users into crypto. But we're a distribution first platform, and yeah.
Okay. Rebranding of abstract and marketing. I know you can't say a lot about that, but like, what can you tell us?
We've been working. It's gonna be a new platform. I think what we have today in portal.abs.xyz is a bare bones proof of concept. Okay. It worked. It works. And now I think we're gonna just take this thing to a whole nother level. And on the marketing side, again, it comes down to when you open the floodgates, you have to make sure it's perfect and it's ready to convert. First impressions are everything, especially outside of the crypto world and even within the crypto world. I think the crypto world's actually probably a little more forgiving than maybe the outside world. Just making sure that we have something that I know the outside world's going to love. Like I have no interest in burning money and trying to force PMF. The platform will be very clear when it's ready for that. And I believe when that time comes, it's going to be an epic moment, to say the least.
All right. What do you think the focus should be on to onboard the new users? Is it memes? Is it games? Is it gambling? Like, what are you like when you sit down and strategize how to market this? Like, what's your focus most on? Like, because to be honest, like I've been going through a lot of chains. And one of the things that I see on my timeline on X and that makes me go to that chain is when I see like a meme pop off, for instance, one of the things that got me back to abstract because I was there from the beginning, but then like I got busy and I went to do other things. And what brought me back was the Bitcoin thing, when it popped off, like it was on everyone's X timeline. Do you think you need something like that? Is it going to be a meme? Is it going to be a game? Is it gambling or what is it?
I think it's fun. And so what defines fun to me, I actually think there's a little bit of an edge in, I think hyper-financialized games is going to be the meta, and I think
Okay.
abstract is the home for that, and I want more of that. So hyper-financialized games, I think it's memes, I think it's NFTs, I think it's digital collectibles and new novel mechanisms, but it's fun. It's definitely not DeFi loops,
Okay.
right? Which we've actually since learned that like some of these things are necessary to enable some of these hyper-financialized games. So we are going to cross some of those O's, X's and O's off of our watch list or a checklist, but hyper-financialized games. You saw that in Bitcoin. You know, you saw that in things like Moonsheep and Gotcha, and some of just the highest performing products on the chain are really predicated around a simple concept of, you know, Gigaverse, just hyper-financialized games. They're games,
Yeah.
right? On-chain heroes, they're games, but they're hyper-financialized games,
Yep.
and there's an incentive financial motive, and it makes it fun. Gaming and making money is obvious, right? Like
Yes.
again, it's just somebody's going to make it work. And again, apps make chains. Chains don't make apps. I will do my best to make a compelling value proposition as to why you should deploy the chain. If you're deploying games and fun, I think the best place to deploy is on abstract because of the 0 to 1 PMF that we can give users right off the bat. I think we have really solved the how do we get you to your first couple $100,000 in revenue problem. And we can do that with every app that's good, right? If you're an app that's not good, then we won't do that. But every app that's good, we will solve your cold start problem. And I think there's no other ecosystem in crypto that can provide value to builders for those type of products like we can.
All right. What this is a question that's been on my mind for a while, to be honest. Like when you're building abstract, like what is your end goal to attract people? Like let's say people who gamble, people who play games, people who stream, people who whatever it is, okay? But like let's see the people that gamble on Stake, or the people that stream on Twitch and Kick, or the people that play on Steam, okay? How are you going to try to get them in here? Is it incentivization? Or is it incentivizing them? Or is it building an ecosystem to attract them? Like for instance, when Kick launched, and I know Eddie really well because I've had a lot of meetings with him. Since I was a guy that was streaming on Twitch, I got a big contract to go and stream on Kick. You know what I mean? So how are you going to do it? Because, you know, when you can't just come and just take everyone from Twitch or Kick that easily if you're like focusing on the streaming aspect of abstract or gambling or whatever it is. How are you going to play it out? Is it incentivization, or is it just building the ecosystem to attract them and not just focus on the incentivization part?
It's definitely on incentivization, right? I try to
Okay.
steer away from that. Like I'm conscious of it, and that's why there's an XP system, but there's a reason why you don't know how to earn XP every single week and it fluctuates. It's because I don't want you to know, right, how to game the system so you can gain rewards.
Okay.
It's going to be products like Bitcoin, like on-chain heroes, like some like, you know, Pengu Clash, like these they're just different gameplay loops than Stake, right? So it's not that it's that much different, if I'm being frank, because there's a lot of similarities, I think, if you look under the hood, but they're packaged completely differently. Like on-chain heroes would never be on Stake, right? But the principle is the same. You're playing the game to return a profit, right? You're playing Gigaverse because you're having fun and you like the mechanics, but you want to turn a profit. You're playing LOL land because you like the loop and it's fun, but you also want to turn a profit. Like maybe 10% of users are different, but 90% of users of any founder thinks differently. I think is not living in their truth. They're playing the loop because they want to make a profit, because they want to earn. And it's a very different loop than going and playing Baccarat or Blackjack. Right? One is a lot more strategic, right? That's why I call it like Stake is gambling, abstract is hyper-financialized games. There's a difference, right? Like me playing Baccarat is a lot different than me like getting a spreadsheet out and like trying to figure out which weapon to burn and like, you know, which armor to equip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I still get out on the same function, which is I do it because of the opportunity that I can go and make money, right? When I'm going and doing the math on my hash rate on my Blackwell, right, on Bitcoin, I'm thinking to myself, okay, like I can maybe try to there's probably like a depth of IQ that is different than like me trying to roll some dice at the crabs table, like a little different, right?
Yeah,
So functionally, end result still the same. How you get there completely different, which I think speaks to a different user base. I actually think this concept of hyper financialized games, the TAM of where it could go, is a lot bigger than gambling. So I think it's very disruptive and it's super innovative. Maybe not to crypto native users, but outside of crypto completely. Wait until these guys start denominating in dollars and start doing like little things like that. It's going to be a lot different, but I that's how I'd kind of comp the two.
All right, nice. I have like a closing question. You've built toys, memes, IPs, and all that. All right. If you were like to launch, like if you had to launch something for abstract outside of crypto tomorrow, what would it be?
AI can. It's right up my alley, right? I would just go make some, take a picture, filter, Facetune auto, take a picture of my body. It gives me my weight type of thing.
Okay.
Like I'd have like 10 consumer AI apps on the app store that I'd just be running ads through different channels, different hooks.
Okay.
And I'd probably,
Okay.
you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
each little niche thing that each makes like $1 million, $2 million a month, but you got 10 of them, so you're making 30 million a month. I'd be
Yeah.
doing that for sure.
All right. Can I ask you about something outside the Igloo ecosystem? Since we have like 2 minutes
Sure.
or 3 minutes, I think you've seen on the timeline the football.fun. I want your take on it.
Yes.
Like I want your take on it. In any
I like
way.
it.
Okay.
I like everything about it. I mean, it's like again, I never understood the sports book. Like to me, the sports book, the fan duels, the draft games never made sense to me. I always would think in principle logically it would kind of flow like a football.fun.
Okay.
So, in my perspective, it's disruptive, just like how Polymarket really disrupted, I think how people, kind of wager against one another. I think this is going to disrupt, the sports book in a really big way. Obviously, the licenses and things are going to be super interesting, like the legalese, but it's not at scale yet where I think anyone's concerned about that.
All right. I think I've been through all my questions. If you have anything to say other than that, I really appreciate you for coming on and looking forward to have some activations in Dubai to see you and to hopefully meet with the Habibi.
Well, Habibi, I'll connect you with Habibi after this, and then this Habibi will be in Abu Dhabi for Breakpoint in Solana. So I'd love to take you out to lunch or dinner, and we can connect from there.
Yeah, sure thing. What other things in Arabic do you know? Like what other words in Arabic than Habibi do you know?
Inshallah, mashallah, Juma. I go to Juma with my friends on Friday.
Okay.
I've got haram,
Okay.
right? Big on haram.
Big on haram.
I don't do any interest loans.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, thank you
pretty
very much,
tapped in,
man.
brother.
Yeah, have a nice one, man. Thank you very much for coming on.
Cool. Have a great day.
Thank you.